Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the EDI Jester's Court. Yes, my court, in which we shall pass judgment upon thee. Hello, Jesterites, how you doing? And hello, everybody else. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Join. You can join now, become a Jesterite. Come and join us. And also subscribe, click the button, save, and share this, if you will, on the other social medioids. Right, okay? Because isn't here we're seeing more Lawfare? I'm asking that question this morning. Are we seeing more Lawfare? Because I think we are. And we got another one here from the 22nd of October in the Times. This is good news. This is more good news, and boy do we need it. All right. Mother wins landmark court ruling to stop child having private trans treatment. Reported by Sean Griffiths, the education editor, in Sunday's Times. A mother has won the first High Court ruling to stop her child, who believes they are the opposite sex, being treated outside the NHS. The interim order made in August prevents the woman's ex-husband from allowing the 15-year-old to receive private transgender treatment and sets a precedent for cases where divorced parents disagree about what treatment should be given to a child who believes they are the opposite sex. A full hearing will take place in the Family Division of the High Court this week. Right, we're going to be watching that one. I do wonder, I've not had any notice as yet of this happening, but I do wonder whether tribunal tweets will be able to be there. Possibly not, because I don't know whether this becomes under the family court, in which case there are very stringent reporting structures to protect children. The mother brought this case because she feared her beautiful, clever, funny, gender non-conforming teenager might be fast-tracked into life-altering treatment with puberty-blocking drugs if cared for privately. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The mum is absolutely right. That's exactly what would have happened. She believes the child should be treated by the NHS as she was encouraged by the cautious approach of the health service. It shouldn't be either, my lovely. I wish it wasn't true, but it shouldn't be either. It's an educational problem. This girl will have other problems. By all means, get them looked at by the NHS, but steer clear of anything to do with gender. Doesn't exist, does it? So, doesn't exist in the form they're making it exist. NHS waiting list for transgender care for children, leading some to look to the private sector. We need to close that loophole. We need to make the waiting list longer, and the best way to make the waiting list longer is to do away with the provision that provides for it. And take the hit. Right? And provide, first of all, a triage of education. You do. You think you're in the wrong body? Right, okay, here's the first thing you're going to do. You're going here for 2 days. We're going to do this. You're going to go and learn about this. You're going to learn about all this stuff and find out what it truly is. And then come back and tell us you've got a problem. We need an educational triage level. Even before therapy. We need an educational triage level because the education system is encouraging them to do it. We need an education triage level. That's what I'm calling for. This month, the coroner ruled that lengthy waits contributed to a decline in the mental health of Alice Littman, 20, a trans woman who killed herself while waiting for gender treatment. She had waited more than 3 years for an assessment. Doctors working via private clinics such as Gender GP, which now operates an online service from Spain, have in the past dispensed drugs to children who are not yet teenagers. On its website, Gender GP says it is one of the largest providers of gender-affirming healthcare worldwide, with 10,000 patients in 40 countries. Dear God. This year, the NHS set out new guidelines for young people with gender dysphoria, saying children should receive through psychological counselling before being offered drugs such as puberty blockers or hormones. They shouldn't be offered them at all, and we know the NHS said it would only be a trial if they're children. But this is young people. They're another at-risk group. Everybody's an at-risk group with this. The minute somebody says gender identity, it's a red flag for everybody. An individual who takes on a gender identity is by nature somebody who's not well. Right? They have to be to take it on. I was born in the wrong body. Right, okay, yep, you're not well, kid. Let's have a chat. Doctors should bear in mind that wanting to change gender might be there's always a transient phase. Right, it has to be. We can't possibly allow it. It has to be. Despite the tight reporting restrictions that apply in the family courts, Mr. Justice Judd ordered that the mother may publish approved details of the case in a crowdfunding appeal to raise £20,000 to pay for further legal action. In her appeal, the mother writes, "My ex-husband and I disagree on whether our child should have access to medical gender treatment outside the NHS. I have been granted an interim order. This expires, however, when our child turns 16 years old early next year. I think that while there may be a short-term psychological benefits associated with the administration of hormone interventions to youth, they must be weighed against the long-term risks to bone health, fertility, and other as yet unknown risks of lifelong hormonal supplementation." I couldn't agree more with the statement there made by the mother. She also says she hopes to extend the order until her child is 18. It should have been 18 automatically. What the hell's going on? To ensure that she receives the appropriate care and treatment in accordance with the new approach of the NHS. She adds, "I have represented myself up to now." Good for you. Good for you. But the case has reached the High Court and I'm out of my depth. Litigation on transgender issues is novel and I need specialist legal advice. I think such examination of the evidence and what is in my child's best interest will not only be of benefit to my child but to other children and parents in this position. Absolutely right. Help one, help them all. Her solicitor Paul Conrath of Sinclair's Law said, "This case takes place against a backdrop of increasing concern about the safety and effectiveness of puberty blocking and cross-sex hormone treatment for gender-questioning children. The court has been sufficiently concerned to take the unusual step of making an interim order preventing my client's child from being treated outside the NHS." The Times then continues with the article, "There has been a sharp rise in the past decade of young people wanting to change gender. Between 2011 and 12 and 2021 and 22, the number of under 18s in England, in London, rose from 210, referred to the Tavistock, to 3,585. But it's not a social contagion, is it? It can't be. No, it can't be, because suddenly all these people we didn't know about before. It's a social contagion. That's why it's mostly girls. This year, Tavistock, which had been the only NHS gender clinic for children in England, but which was earmarked for closure after a review of its practices, homophobia, revealed there were 8,000 children under 18 on its waiting list. The clinic is expected to close by next spring and be replaced by regional services. You know me, scorched earth, no regional services. None. No regional services. None. Not one. Not for adults, not for children. We stop the whole damn thing. Stop this train in its tracks and do it right now. We need educational triage before it reaches the NHS. Before. Because medicalising it can concretise it. We need educational triage before it enters the NHS. Am I right? Am I wrong? You tell me in the doobries. Don't forget to share this and come and join us at Jesterite. I'll see you later. Bye bye.